Hello, we're going to continue with 4.4, convert linear equations from standard form. This will be day 2. Okay, so today is Wednesday, May 13th. Okay, so what is standard form? Standard form is the name of an equation that has one side equal to 0 and the coefficient of x is always positive and never decimal. It is also never a fraction. So we have 2 examples. They're different from yesterday. 2 examples that are standard form. What is slope y-intercept form? Slope y-intercept form is the name of an equation that can be written as y equals mx plus b. There's a 1 always in front of that y. And notice it's always a positive one. Example 1. Using the guess method, rewrite each equation in slope y-intercept form. So we're going to use the guess method. Okay, what's been given? We've been given 3x plus y minus 5 equals 0. What's the unknown? It says rewrite, that's the verb, each equation in slope y-intercept form. So the unknown is rewrite the equation in slope y-intercept form. Okay, the equation for that is y equals mx plus b. That's what slope y-intercept form is. Okay, now if we want to rewrite the equation in slope y-intercept form, we need y on its own side. Okay, so use y equals mx plus b and solve for y. Okay, got to get y equals, solve for y using SAMDEB and opposite operations. When I attach this handout, I'll change the space a little bit, okay? So maybe I'll give a little bit less room here. I don't know. We'll see. Okay, so in my solution space, I'm going to take the equation, the unknown, and the given, okay? I'm going to start with the given, right? So I'm going to start with the given. 3x plus y minus 5 equals 0. That's what's been given, okay? I want to rewrite the equation in slope y-intercept form, and I want to use this equation. Okay, so right now, it's not y equals. Instead, it's 3x plus y minus 5 equals, okay? So I want to solve for y, okay? So I'm going to use this as my goal. That's my goal, okay? But I want to solve for y using SAMDEB. So if I want y on its own side, okay, I want to put y on left side and no y on right side. Okay? Now I'm going to have to use SAMDEB. Okay? So SAMDEB, I'm going to have to give myself a little bit of space here. SAMDEB. Okay, so moving left to right as we always do, I can see that I've got a 3x there. Okay, now I understand that to be positive, so next to the add, okay, I'm going to put plus 3x, and I'm going to change the plus to the opposite. OPP is for opposite, minus 3x. Okay, so I'm going to minus 3x once on the left side and minus 3x once on the right. Now, 3x minus 3x is the opposite of each other, so they cancel each other out and they become 0. I don't have to write the 0 there if I don't want to. So I'm going to have y minus 5 equals, 0, so nothing minus 3x is just minus 3x, okay? Now, I'm still trying to solve for y, okay? So again, to the left side, the rule is y on left side, okay? So y is on the left side of the equal sign. To the right, I'm just still trying to find the rule, follow the rule, no y on right side. Well, there's no y in that, right? So it's following the rule, no y on left side. No y on right side. But to go back over here, I can see that this minus 5 is on the left side. It's not following the rule that y is on the left side. So I have to, next to the s, this is an s here, next to the s, I'm going to put subtract, okay? And even though add is below s, I can do s and a or a and s, whatever order I need to, but I have to do the opposite of what these are, okay? So the opposite of taking away 5, okay? So s is subtract, so taking away, subtracting 5, okay? The opposite is adding 5, okay? So I add 5 once on the left side, and I add 5 once on the right side. Now, minus 5 plus 5, if I don't know what that is, I can type it into my calculator, or I can realize that they're opposites. Okay, so minus 5 plus 5 is 0, right? So they cancel themselves out, and I get y is equal to minus 3x is not like plus 5, okay? They're unlike terms, so I just rewrite them, minus 3x plus 5. So that is just like y equals mx plus b. Remember what we said? We wanted to use this, and that's in slope y-intercept form. So the solution leads us to the sentence, therefore, y equals minus 3x plus 5 is the slope y-intercept form. Okay. All right, let's try the next one. I'll try to see if I can change the spacing. It's a little squished there. Okay, so G, U, E, S, S. Okay, so I've been given 4x plus y plus 7 equals 0. The unknown, there's the verb, rewrite each equation in slope y-intercept form. So rewrite the equation, this one, in slope y-intercept form. Okay? E, the equation, well, I need to use y equals mx plus b, okay? Because slope y-intercept form is this form, y equals mx plus b, okay? Now, if I want to use this, okay, to be my goal, that's my goal, I've got to get y on its own side. So solve for y, okay, using SAMDEB and opposite operations. Okay, so opposite operations, addition is the opposite of subtraction, subtraction is the opposite of addition, multiplication is the opposite of division, and division is the opposite of multiplication. Okay? All right, so I'm going to take what is in the equation, the unknown, and the given, okay? And I'm going to start with the 4x. So 4x plus y plus 7 equals 0. And I'm going to write in slope y-intercept form, getting y on its own side, okay? So right now, give myself a little bit of room here, okay? So to the left, y is there, so let y stay where it is. So y on left side. The opposite would be no y on right side. Okay? All right. Now I have to use SAMDEB. If I'm going to get y on the left side, I have to go left to right, just like I read, and I have to say, does 4x follow this rule? Y is on the left side. Well, 4x contains an x. It doesn't contain a y, so 4x has to go. Now, when I say 4x, I don't say negative 4x, right? I say 4x. Well, that means that I understand that this is a positive, okay? So next to the A in SAMDEB for add, okay, this is add, is they're adding, the equation is adding 4x. So I do the opposite of adding, which is subtracting. So the opposite of adding 4x is subtracting 4x, okay? So I subtract 4x once from the left side and once from the right side, okay? Now, 4x minus 4x, they're identical. Their signs are opposite, so they cancel each other out. I have 4 x-rays and I take 4 x-rays away, it's 0. Okay, so all I have left with is y plus 7 equals 0. So nothing minus 4x is just minus 4x. Okay, now notice I'm trying to write everything directly below, right? So if it's not moving, right, it's directly below the line that it was originally, all right? So now again, I'm following the same rule that we wrote over here. Y on left side. I could maybe put it in a bubble to make it stand out. Okay, so over here is y following this rule, y on left side. Yes, it's to the left of the equal sign. But this plus 7, it's not a y, right? It doesn't have a y with it. So it has to be moved. So the only way we do that is opposite operations. So the opposite of adding 7, okay, so next to the A, put this plus 7. The opposite of adding 7 is subtracting 7. So this is what I do on the left side, subtract 7, and on the right side, subtract 7. Y does not get affected by the minus 7, okay, because y is not sharing a y with this, right? There's no y here, so they are unlike. So that means I rewrite the y, and then I go, what's plus 7 minus 7? Well, plus 7 is 7. I could put a plus there if I want, but I don't even think my calculator would do that. Minus 7 equals 0. So they cancel each other out, okay? Then equals drops below, and then I have minus 4y. I rewrite it, or sorry, minus 4x I should say, minus 7. They don't get combined because minus 4x and minus 7 are unlike, so they just get rewritten. So that is like y equals mx plus b. Okay, so they're just the same. Okay, so we've done what we were being asked to do. So the sentence, therefore, y equals negative 4x minus 7 is the slope y-intercept form. Now, if you need to take a break, you can go on and take a break, turn the video off, and then come back when you've got some energy, because I know we've been going for 15 or so minutes, okay? All right, so let's do the next one, the last one. Okay, so 2x minus y plus 1 equals 0. So the same instruction using the guess method, rewrite the equation in slope by intercept form. So just G-U-E-S-S. Okay, what's been given? 2x minus y plus 1 equals 0. The unknown, rewrite each equation in slope y-intercept form. So rewrite the equation in slope y-intercept form. Okay, so the equation, what is slope y-intercept form? Okay, that's y equals mx plus b. Okay, so if I want to use this form, okay, so solve for y, because y is on its own side there, solve for y using SAMDEB and opposite operations. Okay, again, opposite operations, what are they? Addition is opposite subtraction. Subtraction is opposite of addition. Multiplication is opposite division, and division is opposite multiplication. Okay, so I'm going to use all those. Solution. Take the equation, the unknown, and the given, and write that in our solution space. Okay, give myself enough room. 2x minus y plus 1 equals 0. Okay, maybe move that over a little bit. 2x minus y plus 1 equals 0. Okay, so I'm trying to solve for y. Notice here there's a minus. Okay, so that's something that's different from these y's that were plus, right? So that's going to be maybe, well, it is. It's going to be an extra step. Okay, so I'm going to circle the y, okay, and I'm going to separate the left side of the equal sign and the right side. Okay, the y's on the left side. So we're going to put y on left side. Put it in a bubble so it stands out. The opposite is no y on right side. Put that in a bubble. Okay? All right. So we said we're using SAMDEB. So we're going to do that. All right. So moving left to right, just like we read, 2x, is that following the rule? Well, it says y on left side. Well, 2x is an x, right? It's not a y. So that has to move. So we look at the sign. When I say 2x, I don't say negative 2x. I say 2x. Well, that means I understand it to be positive. Okay, so think about how we read it. Okay, it's not negative because this negative is behind it, right? So that's 2x is 2x, and because we say 2x, we know that it has to be understood to be positive. If it was negative, we'd have to say negative 2x, but we don't, right? So this is positive. So next to add positive 2x, the opposite is take away 2x, okay? So we take away 2x once on the left side and once on the right side. All right, so 2x, 2 x-rays, take away 2 x-rays, they cancel each other out. We rewrite your minus y plus 1 equals 0 minus 2x, okay, is just minus 2x, right? 0, that's nothing, and then take 2x away, that's just minus 2x, okay? Okay, now I'm solving for y. Y is on the left side, it's following this rule, but what's happened is that this plus 1 is not following the rule. We have to move it, okay? So to the left side of the equal, the plus 1 is not following the y on left side rule. So to the right, we have the same rule, no y on the right side. So we are moving the plus 1, okay? So next to the add, they're adding 1, so we do the opposite, which is subtract 1, okay? So we subtract once on the left, we subtract once on the right. Now, this minus y does not share a y with the minus 1. These are unlike. So you just rewrite your minus y, and then your minus 1 plus 1, if we want to, we can just type it in. There's my minus plus 1, okay, is equal to 0. So I can see that they cancel each other out. We get minus y equals minus 2x minus 1, okay? Now, we're not done yet. This is an extra step that I talked about. So this is a negative y as opposed to this being positive and this being positive. If they have a minus y, okay, we have to understand that that's the same as saying negative, I'll even move it over a little bit. This is the same as saying negative 1 times y. That we have to understand that that's what is being said to us. So the opposite of multiplying y by negative 1, okay, so there's the m. The opposite of multiplying y by negative 1 is the opposite, which is dividing by negative 1. Okay, so I'm not changing the negative, I'm changing the operation. Okay, so the opposite of multiplying by negative 1 is dividing. Divide sign is there by negative 1, and I have to divide by negative 1 over here as well. Okay, negative divided by negative, negative 1 divided by, if I want to, negative 1 divided by a negative 1 is equal to a positive, okay? Or if you say, if you hate to hate, you're loving, right? So 1 divided by 1 is positive y equals, and then this we have to break this up. So this becomes negative 2x divided by negative 1 and negative 1 divided by negative 1. So this negative affects the negative 2x and the negative 1. And then we simplify. Okay, positive 1y is understood to just be y, okay? And then this negative, right, if you hate to hate, you're loving 2x, okay, because 2 divided by 1 is 2, and hate divided by hate is, or sorry, if you hate to hate, you're loving, okay? And then this one, if you hate to hate, you're loving, and 1 divided by 1, if I need to, I type it in. 1 divided by 1 is 1, okay, is 1, okay? So that's like y equals m, yep, we can still see it in the camera, mx plus b, okay? So therefore my s, move my s down here, my s, okay, therefore y equals 2x plus 1 is the slope y-intercept form. When you do your practice questions, have this paper next to your note paper, have the video ready to go, replay the video if you're getting stuck. Make sure you email me as well if you have a question.